All right, so I want to go ahead and talk about our speaker for today. Over the 2 days, and as many years as I've been a part of Farm and Ranch Days, we've gone over tons of different topics. Production, dealing with family, cost share opportunities, lots of tools out there for farmers and ranchers. But one of the things that's important that we haven't covered a lot is the topic of mental health. And I've been hesitant because I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to go forward. It's something that folks in agriculture don't always want to talk about, that don't always have the tools to deal with things. But it's an important one. The rates of anxiety and depression and suicide within the ag community is pretty high. It's something that doesn't get talked about much or near enough. In this lifestyle, we've got a lot of pressure. There's pressure from the legacy aspect of keeping something going that's been going a long time. There's the price of things, weather, all those uncontrollable factors that play into what it is to do this type of work. We also are pretty secluded here in Wyoming, especially if we're on the farm and ranch. A lot of times we just don't visit with people as much as we should, and sometimes farmers and ranchers just don't have the tools to get someone to talk about these things. So I played with ideas on how to do this, and it was suggested to me that maybe we think outside the box. I don't think we've had a comedian at Farm and Ranch Days before. So Mr. Brent Reed was recommended to me. He's been a comedian for over 30 years, and he talks. When I talked to him on the phone about this, I explained the event, and he said, well, I told him about my concerns with mental health and ag, and he said, well, another group that kind of deals with that is comedians. And he said, I've got some of my own personal experiences and thoughts and things that I've gone through, and folks that I work with have gone through. So I thought it was a different approach, something different. I hope that we can do this in a light way and also talk about the important stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Brent Reed. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah. Give it up for Chance. Yeah, Chance, you did a fine job. Now, give it away. I'm just kidding, man. That was great, man. Chicken fried steak. When I heard that, I cried. I want y'all to know that. How many love chicken fried steak? Raise your hand. How many know there's leftovers and you ain't taking them home, but I am? Raise your hand. God bless y'all. Oh, man. The Army approached me last year, and they said suicide has killed more people, active members, in the last 2 years than the history of the Army. Did y'all know that? Yeah, last 2 years. Take the history of the Army, add it up, they've had more suicides there. And they said they wanted a unique way to approach this. Robert Williams, prime example. Everybody know he committed suicide, right? Robert Williams could live with what he had. There's a video most of you have never seen Robert Williams going off. And he had a lot of mental health issues that he had to deal with. Comedians commit a lot of suicide. That is true. We deal with depression and suicide. So we put this program together. And the Army called me and said, here's the deal. I want a 45-minute presentation on suicide awareness. I said, somebody that suffers with suicide and depression, I'm not doing that. They said, that's what we need. I said, I'm not doing that. They said, what are you going to do? You going to go home? I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some comedy. So here's what we're going to do. Y'all mind if we do a few minutes of comedy before I get to the serious stuff? Okay? Everybody understand that? And then I'm going to tell you why I'm teaching this and speaking on this. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I used to weigh 430 pounds. I got down to 330 pounds. This is where you applaud. Yeah! Right here. Boy, I've been fat all my life, man. I weighed 11.5 when I was born. They needed a tow truck to get me out. Do you understand? I always like being fat. Where's my fat, healthy people? Raise your hand if you're healthy. Yes, if you're big. Where's my anorexic people? Raise your hand. Okay, oh, come on. Like there's no health nuts, health freaks in Wyoming. Nobody in here exercises. Forget y'all. I like being fat because 2 reasons. First of all, you never see a fat person ever get kidnapped, is number one. It's always skinny people they go after, lady. You never looked on the news, there was a 6'2", 416-pound white male. They tried to fit him in the trunk of the car. See, if you come up missing, just think about this. If you ever come up missing, they will put your picture on a milk cart. There ain't a milk cart big enough in America to put me on it. Do you understand? If I come up missing, they'll put me on a pack of bacon because Smithville would be missing their money. See, I love to start off with the fat jokes because I love the people that are judgmental. You're going, I ain't laughing at the fat jokes. I'm the one who lost weight, forget you. You're like, I ain't laughing at the fat jokes, that's just wrong. Heart disease, diabetes in America, plus that boy don't know he's fat. Look up here. I know I'm fat. If you can lift weights without lifting weights, you're fat. 1, 2, 3, 4. You take off running, you hear applause, and there's nobody around except you. Man, that means your knees hit your kneecap, and your stomach's hit your kneecap as you're picking up speeds. I would exercise, but when I sweat, I smell like bacon, I get hungry. Y'all keep eating up now, okay? How many married folks here? Raise your hand if you're married. How many happily married? What happened? What happened? Is she here? Oh, she's not here, but what's wrong with your marriage, sir? You did it went down, too. How many people in this community know you? Oh, they do? So how many knew he was unhappy in his marriage? Anybody want to make a phone call says this sucker's over? My comedy hero was Don Rickles. Anybody know who Don Rickles is? He messed with the audience a lot. So how long have you been married?
29 years.
How long have you been happily married? Say 29 years quick, okay? Don't hesitate. There are you on the phone with your wife. He put his hands down in public. So, man, did you get married young?
Mid-age.
Mid-age? What, 40s?
26.
26? Anybody get married young in here? Raise your hand if you got married young. All right. How old when you got married? Who's the youngest? 19? No, I'm talking about Arkansas young. I mean young. Anybody? I got married when I was 16. She was 19. We were married for 27 years. A lot of people think we got married because she was pregnant, which is not true. She thought I was. Okay, if you don't laugh at that joke, I have stretch marks to prove that joke. Do you understand? I had a C-section. I have 2 sons. I have a 33-year-old son, a 27-year-old. I have 10 grandchildren, and I am 53 years of age. Let us pray. 9 of them are girls. 1 boy. From the ages of 1 to 17. From crying to denying. I love that. My oldest son's an idiot, and you know him. I'm sorry. Just called my son an idiot. And you laughed here in Wyoming. Last year my son went to school. He flunked English and passed Spanish. I'm going to repeat that. Y'all take a good look at me and let's try that one more time. He flunked English and passed Spanish. I did that joke in Jackson, Mississippi, and the guy stood up and goes, but you're from Texas, ain't that normal? Well, sir, we're in Mississippi where you don't have to pronounce all the stupid letters and spell your stupid state. Y'all help me out spelling Mississippi if you know it. Ready? M-I, crooked letter, I. Crooked letter, I. Humpback, I. He goes, I'm offended. I'm going, because I make fun of Mississippi? He goes, no, sir. I'm married, humpback, I. Oh, y'all's New Year's going good? Everybody's New Year's going good? Huh? Yeah. I got shot on New Year's. No, it's all right. It was by my wife. She was sober. I bought her a BB gun to shoot squirrels out of her yard. I begged my wife, I said, do me a favor, when I go hang up the target, do not shoot me. Apparently she didn't listen. She pumped it and shot me. I'm going, I thought it was for squirrels. She goes, I tried it on a bigger target first. We're still married. I said, if there's an instruction manual that comes with a BB gun, it ought to read like this. Your spouse pumps that sucker 1 to 3 times, she's just joking. She pumps it 3 to 5 times, seek marriage counseling. If your wife pumps it until she can't pump it no more, felony. So my wife's in the back, she's on probation, but she's here. So, that's how my New Year started. I like my grandkids. How many love your favorite? How many of you have kids? Raise your hand. How many glad they're not here? Okay. How many of you have a favorite child? Raise your hand. All right. Where's the rest of you lying? You always have that kid you save money for college, another one you sell you for bail. You know what I'm talking about? Gosh, what old are you? 11? What's your name? Allie? Okay. Callie. Hallie. I'm old. Is that your parent right there? All right. You want to come here for a second? It's just an illustration. Come here just for a second. You don't mind? Give her a hand. Appreciate it. Come here. Where's your parents at? Your dad? Dad, do me a favor, just real quick. I know you. Stand up, face that way. Hallie, it's Hallie, right? Come here, stay right here. Turn around, face the wall. There's witnesses, sir. Okay, nothing's going to happen to the child. Turn around. Your dad doesn't follow instructions very well, does he? Hallie, do you have a car?
No.
Do you know how to drive?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just in case this goes south and your dad gets mad, you have a ride home, huh? We'll get you a ride. All right, here we go. Here's what I want you to do. Shake your head yes or no, because I want your dad to get mad at you, okay? Just shake your head yes or no. Is your daddy mean? Shake your head yes or no. All right, turn around, you child abuser. You have a seat. Give her a hand for a second. Yeah. She said no, sir. She said no. I like how the other children go, don't kill her. She said no, Dad. Do you know some of the stuff our parents did to us when we were growing up they throw you in jail for now? Watch this. Do you have to wear a seatbelt? Anybody remember not having to wear a seatbelt? It's been around for years. Let's do it, folks. This was our seatbelt when we were growing up. Look at your dad. You think I'm lying? Right there. And if your mom had that fat hanger underneath your arm, you had your own airbag. Oh, come on. Nobody has the fat underneath your arm like grandma in church. You just play with that sucker to see how far you can slap it. It's truth. I speak truth in Wyoming. So let me go with this. We're going to go back to the comedy in just a second, but let me touch on this. Going back to the suicide awareness. So the Army goes, we need this. We need to cover this. After the first presentation, we did 9 presentations of what we're fixing to do in 2 days. We had a line of men out the door at the counseling center when we got finished with this presentation in the Army. I went to Canada, and a guy had a suicide note from his son that he carried in his wallet. And he carries it around with him. And I'm going to explain that a little bit. Now, some of you know somebody that's went through depression, you went through suicide. If you're dealing with family members, please don't take this as being cocky. I'm not a mental person. I wrote a book. I didn't even graduate high school, but I can help you. Okay, number 1. Number 2, the worst thing that we have going for us is I'm a man. Most men have a problem with what? Pride. We don't want to admit nothing's wrong. Everything's okay. Everything will be just fine. So I'm going to tell you some stories of what happened. There's one thing you should never do to somebody who's going through suicide and depression. Anybody know what that is? Never walk up to a person that's going through suicide and depression and look them straight in the face and do this. I know what you're going through. You don't. Nobody knows what's going on in your head. Nobody knows the battle you're fighting in your head. Nobody knows the secrets in your head. Nada. You have no idea what they're going through. Everybody understand that? Please get that through your head. The worst thing you can tell somebody when expressing suicide, I know what you're going through. Not going to happen. You can't imagine what my mind does. I'm a comedian. I'm supposed to be this happy person. I'm a clean comic. A clean comic. A family-friendly comic. When kids are in the audience, we bring them up. Do you know what the problem with that these days are? It's very, very hard. Without somebody wanting me to do a blue joke, do the dirty joke, go here, do this. But I've performed for Walmart, Chevron, Sonic, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you know the number one reason they hired me? I'm clean. Don Rickles was my hero. He did dirty material, did material you can't even do today. But I like messing with the audience, you know, like you're married, sir, I like playing around with stuff like that. Get you in trouble, you know, the good things. You know, I don't care about your marriage, sir, I'm just kidding. But people need to laugh. And so when the Army goes, they said, what you gonna do? So I said, okay, comedy brings people's defenses down. Now I'm gonna look at everybody in this audience. I've been doing this 34 years professionally, and I can read an audience very well. And I can tell in some of your faces, you look at me going, he thinks he knows it all. No. The time I committed suicide, I didn't know all of it. The time I took an overdose, I didn't know all of it. The time I tried to help people, I didn't know all of it. You know the reason I do this, folks? Is because I want to look you straight in the face and tell you something that nobody's ever told you probably. You matter. In your life, you matter. Whatever you're going through matters. There's a puzzle in your life. Does everybody understand? And you should call it your family. Y'all with me so far? Your friends. You take one piece of that puzzle and you take it out and you complete that puzzle. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is what? Ladies and gentlemen, what is it?
I'm okay. Better off dead.
I'd be better off dead. The biggest liar to you is you. There's a lady in South Dakota. We just saw her. Well, she didn't show up at my show. Her son was a Marine, committed suicide 2 years ago. To this day, she drinks herself to death because she blames her for her son's suicide. Had nothing to do with her. 3 o'clock in the morning, I could find her on Facebook trying to sleep. But she's drunk. She missed my show in Deadwood, South Dakota Friday night because she'd been drinking. She's just slowly killing herself to end herself for her grandson. It's a hard subject. People look at it and go, I really don't want to hear this and leave. Fine, I understand. But there's some people that actually go through this. They suffer from depression. They suffer from suicide. They suffer through stuff. 30 days ago, we'll tell this, we're going to get back to some comedy. 30 days ago, my wife, I'll just tell this real quick. I got remarried 9 years ago. The lady in the back, if you look at her, she was the only female cadet in her class. That is a professional firefighter out of Houston, Texas, against all men, only woman in her class graduate. She was the only female cadet. She's a paramedic, and she's been an ER nurse for the last 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're as fat as I am, you want to marry 911, I give you 911. 30 days ago, I was sitting in the recliner. And I was crying. Don't know why. I was getting depressed. I turned to my wife and I said, I think I'm getting depressed. You know what her response is to somebody who deals with depression? She looked at me and says, good, I'm glad you told me. She said, you've been too happy too lately. Anybody know what that means? There was another shoe that was about to fall. I didn't know why I was getting depressed. You know what thing she banned me from? Is a thing called TikTok. To me as a comedian, going through TikTok's funny, but it's also very depressing. She banned me and hid the password for my mental health. Because I cried. And she said, now what do you want me to do? She said, do you want me to monitor you? Or do you want to talk about it? You understand what I'm saying? She didn't beat me over the head and said, you loser. Suck it up, okay? I'm tired of hearing you being depressed. You're not a man. Forget about it. My daughter-in-law had her brother showed up at her girlfriend's house. She said those exact same words. You'll never do it. You'll never do this. It will never happen. He killed himself in her driveway. We don't talk about it. Don't do this, Brent. It's uncomfortable. We don't want to admit this. See, I don't have a scripted paper. I don't have a piece of paper with a bunch of notes. We're going to go over some of the stuff. But I don't have to do it as a speaker. As a speaker, I like to tell you truth, and I like to look you straight in the face and give you personal stories, and hopefully you can identify with something. Everybody understand? So if I go from here to here, I don't have a plan. anything. I just try to tell you what's going on. Everybody understand? Okay? So I went through that. That's how Audra treated me. Because I've actually told my wife, I actually turned to her, I said, she works nights. I said, take your guns out of the house. I'm done. This will probably be the night. Because I deal with it. But I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be joyous. You know what? I enjoy being married. How many of you know marriage is a tough thing? Raise your hand. All right. All right. How many of you ever had your spouse shoot you on New Year's with the presents you bought them on Christmas? Now you know what I'm going through. But I love her. I need nurses in here. Let me do a few minutes more comedy. We're going to get some more of the depth of this program. Who else? Anybody a nurse in here? Raise your hand if you're a nurse. Anybody know any nurses? You a nurse or know a nurse? Nurse, what type? ER? Okay, anybody else? That's what Audra is. Anybody else? Nobody else? Nurse? That's it? Anybody know a nurse? Anybody know that nurses are twisted and sick? Raise your hand. 2 months after we're married, I'm supposed to wear that stupid CPAP. Anybody know what a CPAP is? I refused. She thought she'd teach me a lesson, so she got her paramedic paddles out. You know what I'm talking about? To jumpstart you. I'm sound asleep. She hops on me at 2 o'clock in the morning and goes, Brent! When I looked up, she went, clear! That's when I had my first heart attack in our relationship. My wife has a lazy eye. I pick on it all the time. We're at a Mexican restaurant the other day in Casper. The guy goes, what do you want to order? I said, I don't know. She's looking at both menus. Okay, hang on. That's the reason I married the woman, because I looked at her one day, I said, honey, what's your lazy eye looking at?
My lazy husband.
People look at me all the time and say, you should not pick her your wife. My newest grandbaby, she's 1 year of age, she has a lazy eye. And I approve it. It's on my phone. I shake it. That sucker won't move. But, yeah, I pick on her all the time. But she did something sadistic and twisted to me. I had an ear infection one day, and I had to show up at the ER in Houston, Texas. She's a travel nurse. She does PRNs at different hospitals. I show up at the ER with a bad ear infection because I have, go ahead, tell them. What do you say I have?
Man flu.
Man flu. Everything's over-exaggerated. I said, well, there's stuff coming out of my ear. She goes, well, go to the ER and they'll fix you up. I go to the ER, 2 other women sitting in the ER. The triage nurse did this in reality. Ha! I'm looking for big fat crybaby that over-exaggerates everything. Big fat crybaby. Those 2 women at the ER goes, that must be you, fat boy. I walked in that room. There was a 6'4" hairiest nurse I've ever seen in my life. It was a guy named Jack Barr. Walks in there and goes, Mr. Reed, we're here to give you an enema.
For a ear infection.
Now I know, I said, you got the plumbing at the wrong end. I said, who ordered an enema? He goes, the charge nurse. I'm going, who's in charge? He goes, your wife. Oh, that's not funny. That woman back there sent people in that room for 4 hours to do stuff to me that was legal and covered by insurance. After 4 hours, I think I get to see the doctor. A man in the suit walks in. I'm going, finally a doctor. Chance it wasn't the doctor. Who'd you send in?
The social worker to do a psychiatric evaluation.
You feel like committing suicide, Mr. Reed? Not before I get in here. Anybody ever got a speeding ticket in here? Raise your hand if you ever got a speeding ticket. Everybody in this room's got a speeding ticket. Wow. What's your last one for? How fast were you going?
82 miles an hour in a 65.
Hey, 2 and 65. Hey, you're at 65. Anybody ever heard of a comedian named Ralphie May? I started my comedy career with Ralphie when I was 18 years of age out of Houston, Texas. Ralphie weighed over 600 pounds. That's when I first knew him. The state of Texas let comedians teach defense driving. You get a speeding ticket in Texas, comedians allowed to teach the class as long as we did the curriculum and kept it clean. Ralphie also taught it. And I had a lot of cheerleaders take my class. There are cheerleaders in here. Raise your hand if you're a cheerleader, former cheerleader. Where were you a cheerleader at, ma'am? Riverton High School. Anybody else? All right, here's what I'm going to do for all the cheerleaders. We'll talk slower. Ready? Okay. I had a lot of cheerleaders take my class, and she talked like this. Have you ever met a child that talked like this? And he was like, and I'm like, she's talking with her hands or head. You ever met that demon-possessed child? Whole time this girl was in my class, she did this. Watch this. I don't get the cop. See, you know you're fat when your left chin slaps your right one. Do you see that, sir? So here, we're going to play a game. Let me see. I need 2 guys and 2 ladies before we go in depth with this. We're going to play a game. Number one reason I get hired by corporations is for this game, and I'll tell you why. I need 2 guys and 2 ladies, and then we're going to move on. Come on. 2 live.
I'll help you.
That's fine. Yeah. Need a guy? Come on. Okay, I'll take her husband. Come on up. Next thing. I need another one. I need another one. Guy and lady. Come on. Come on. I need a. All right. I need a guy. Fine. I'll take the one ball camera over here. Skinny. All right. Y'all stand. Boy, girl, boy, girl. All right. It's fine. Good. We're good. All right. Here we go. Walmart. Let me try not to bring you back. Scoot down a little bit. Okay. Scoot up. That's what I'm trying not to. Scoot this way. All right. I'm a cop, and I just pulled you 4 over. You are the exact same person. Does everybody stand? You have to use one word at a time. What's wrong, Chance? We good? Oh, you're just facing. I thought something was wrong. You are the exact same person. I'm going to ask a question. You have to work as a team to complete this sentence. Everybody understand? All right? One word at a time. I will start with you at the end. Do you know why I pulled you over?
Yes.
That is the sentence. Switch with her. I need a sentence. Yes, it is one word, but you got to start the sentence. Yes ends it. All right, here we go. Do you know why I pulled you over?
No, sir, I don't have any.
One word, sir. You're married. Switch with your husband. Switch. Ask for one word. Ma'am, do you know why I pulled you over? One word. Can't be yes, can't be no. Anything else will work. One word. Huh?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Tomorrow.
Well, why you're laughing, you married him. And yesterday, tomorrow, and
Horse.
horse. This gets weird fast, ain't it? Go ahead. Come on. Ain't?
Road.
Uh-huh.
Bank.
Uh-huh. Okay, y'all are drunk. This time, and I'm going to hit you in the mic, we're going to try to do it the best we can. You can't use words, you have to make an animal sound. It can't be something somebody else has done. Okay? Animal, bird, or insect. Everybody got that? This is Wyoming. The first day we moved to Lander, Wyoming, she was travel nurse. There was a 10-point buck in the drive-thru. I've got a picture. I'm not kidding. All I knew was I was in Lander, and it was in my spot at McDonald's. All right, here we go. Do you know why I pulled you over? And she did very good. She also had the eyes for that server, didn't she?
Yeah.
Your cat's sick.
Oink.
Oink. Is your pig hanging out with his cat? Anybody? Oh, that's a chicken? Bless you, sir.
Move.
It's because I'm fat, huh? Is that all you got? Bah. Okay. I love this. She goes, he's still mine. Come on, finish it off.
My butterfly.
Apparently, whatever that was is horse. Give him a hand. Appreciate it. We did Home Depot at Minute Maid Park where the Astros play. We did their big corporate event. The lady stood up and did this. She did that for 5 minutes and got 2 marriage proposals after that program. So, on the suicide awareness, let me go over a couple of these. Clicker. Carolyn, can you click that thing? It just didn't click, I guess. It goes to the next screen. No. Oh, I guess change those. Sorry, guys. All right. Things that contribute to this tragedy for suicidal murders. Break up a family. Remember I told you the guy had the son, and we just did the show with Brandon, Manitoba, and he carried the suicide note. He broke up his wife 2 weeks to his son committed suicide, and he had the note. There's one thing, and you're going to agree or you're going to disagree. Let me tell you what it is. People all the time tell me there was no signs they were going to commit suicide. No, don't tell me that. They may have never told you personally they were going to commit suicide or something was going to happen, but they told somebody there were signs. Ask Godfrey, where's the ER nurse? I don't know if he left it, but the ER nurse. People have committed suicides in hospital parking lots. Why? Because they wanted to be saved just in case something goes wrong. Everybody understand what we mean so far? All right, stay with me. Drugs. Alter our thinking. Sexual abuse. This one right here is one of the biggest ones in the Army right now. Sexual abuse. When I was a kid, I don't remember all of it, but that was mine. Perfection. Unrealistic expectations. Okay? Let me do this. I do a joke, you don't laugh. I understand it's a big room, but if it was a pain event, we were doing a show, and I did everything in the world to make everybody laugh, sir, and you didn't laugh, I'd bother her for the next 2 days, want to know what joke I could have pulled out to make you laugh. You know why? I want to be perfect. Comedians are some of the most insecure people in the world. We want your attention. We beg for your attention. We want you to laugh. We want you to like us. You understand? So we travel around the country seeking perfect shows that never happen. Overall feeling of hopelessness, PTSD. 2 days after Audrey came back to work, she had that neck surgery. A patient took her head and hanged it over a rail. That was about to kill her. She had to fight for her own safety. To this day, she wakes up with nightmares, screaming about that incident where she almost died with a patient. We were in New Orleans, and I lost her. I had to find her in New Orleans. She just went off. PTSD is not just something that happens in the military. Everybody understand that? Next one for me, if you don't mind, click it. Key events that often precede a suicide tip. A big fight, I'll show them. Nothing ever seems to change. Look at this one, it says major embarrassment or failure. Anybody ever have a major embarrassment in your life? Anybody ever see a TV show called Dry Bar? All right, Dry Bar is one of the biggest successful things right now. Millions of them, millions. And there's some comedians you know they're on it. I'm good friends with 90% of them. Here's the problem. Texas. I've been doing comedy for 34 years. Audience participation, that's well known. It's audience interaction specialist. So I turned around, and there was 2 people in that audience at a small coffee shop in Texas. 2 of the comedians in the back were friends of mine. They're from Dry Bar. I bombed with new jokes. And you're supposed to bomb. That's what we teach new comedians. You don't bomb, you don't learn. You will never get up in front of a bunch of strangers and talk if you don't bomb. I took the truck, I took the keys, I took that truck over 100 miles per hour near Dallas, Texas, trying to ram it into a wall. And if she didn't stop me and make me pull over, we'd be dead. Because I was embarrassed. But they don't like me, I'm not good enough. I told you, you do not want to be a Brent Reed. Ever. I hope that you pray that you never are in the torment of me making stuff up in my head. That are all lies, but I believe them. Break up, love relationship. My wife, ex-wife left me on Valentine's Day. Took my son. I miss Christmas. There's a family portrait at my house that my nephew had. Everybody's in the family's there except me because I'm home sleeping with a butcher knife underneath my pillow. My ex-wife has had enough. Our relationship was going south, and all of a sudden, I refused to bathe. I refused to leave that bedroom. All I did. And there are certain reasons, I can't say here, but there are certain reasons why I'm not dead right now. And that's the honest to God true story. My family knows it, my grandkids know it, and she knows it. I'll say it, I'll forget it, chance may not come back. I believe God has put a purpose somewhere where I need to address you face to face and let you know there's some hope. I've learned to recognize what my triggers are in my depression. I am seriously trying to help you learn that you need to have somebody in your life you can talk to and not do it. Biggest lie, the benefits of death outweigh it. We already went over that. The problems of life. My wife loves me to do this. Love is in the air, or is that bacon? The first presentation I did that for the Army, I did not know that she put that into the screenshot. You know why? Because it gets real heavy in this conversation. Everybody with me? This is a really heavy subject. She threw that up there to make me laugh. That's the woman I married. Just out of the blue. Hey, he's going to laugh. He likes bacon. I thought it was funny. Next one. Things you shouldn't say. Don't feel that way. You've been saying that for months, for years. There's a comedian named Ford Douglas out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The governor gave him and his wife Family of the Year. He took the kids, stray kids who were on the street. They couldn't have any children. They ended up adopting. He had one of his sons, had his son for over a year. And this happened June of last year. He looked at his dad and said he was going to commit suicide. His dad looked him straight in the face. Said, son, I've heard it for a year. If you're going to kill yourself, please do it before Dad gets home. He walked in. His son was dead. You don't want to put up with somebody that says they're fighting depression or suicide. If you're not willing to listen to them, get somebody that is. You've been doing it for a year. You're just doing it for attention, really? No, they've been that long trying to find help. Oh, come on, folks. We have an epidemic of this. I travel around this country. I don't know how much you do in Wyoming, but there's billboards all over California. There's billboards all over this place saying about suicide awareness. It's become a big epidemic. And it surprises fire to me that farmers and ranchers are up there now. It's just truth. You're just crying out for help or attention. Go to the next one. Me laughing at jokes on the internet and on TV helped me, myself, from being depressed. TikTok, I can't do it. Some of you can have a TikTok. But here's Brent. I'll give you just a little illustration. Ready? ER nurse. Needs to be alone 12 hours a night. We've been on the road for 9 days. I'm headed home. I'm not doing nothing for 2 weeks. The grandkids haven't come to see me. Can't write anything funny. It's 11 o'clock. I'm going to try to get some sleep. No. I can't believe, man, they got her to do dry bar? What am I going to do tomorrow? I got to make some phone calls, but what else am I going to do tomorrow? I'm tired. And I will rock and rock and rock in that recliner. And the wheels just go and go. You know what Brent does now? Brent picks up some phones to some comedians that will take my phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, hey, can't sleep, huh? Want to try out some jokes? I'm sorry, I need help. I will sit there and I will write something. I'll watch other comedians on TV, but my mind just can't sit there and do that. Because if I do, then the next thought is, you know what? Audra has a really good job. She's the one that makes really good money. Maybe she'll find somebody else that'll like her. In my head, over and over again. That's what people do when they're depressed and they're suicidal. They think that they're the only solution that's going to solve any of their problems. So I distract myself. I get up, I leave, I call somebody. Keep going, next one. I'm almost done. Preoccupation with death. What will stress us talk about death? Get this real quick. Giving away personal items. Son taking a risk. I don't care. Hold my beer and watch this. Here's your illustration real quick. You don't have to tell me. If you want to raise your hand, it's fine. Anybody know anybody that is talked about suicide and they're depressed and all of a sudden their attitude changed? And now they're happy. And the depression and the suicide went away. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Change of mood. They start giving stuff away. Oh, I don't need it anymore. Once somebody that's suicide and depression reaches a peace point, you're most likely never, ever going to get them back. They've decided to kill themselves. They just don't know when and where. It could be a year. But once they reach that point, the peace point, it's done. They're going to do it. Next one. Depression but happy. All of a sudden, they've been talking about committing suicide. Everything's going, now they're happy. Once they have made peace with the plan, they can fool themselves and loved ones into thinking they have turned around. Change of sleep modes, withdrawn from friends, loss of interest in life, inattention to personal hygiene. Flip it one more time. The worst word in the world is this one. How you doing, sir? You're fine? Good. That's horrible. If you're fine, that's not good. Define fine. Define fine. You find that you got up today? Define fine. You find you got a roof over your head? Define fine for me. Just don't tell me fine. Because you know what? As a manipulator or a liar, and somebody goes through depression, you know what fine tells me, sir? I'm telling you, get out of my business. I'm okay. I'm fine. I can lie to you till I'm blue in the face so you won't probe any other way. I'm good. I'm fine. Not a good word. You should follow up. Anybody else fine? Hey, fine? How's your day? Describe fine. Just don't leave me with that thinking you're okay. Next one. My wife hears more jokes than you'll ever hear in your life. Here's a joke, and women are going to hate it. Here we go. My first wife stood 5 feet tall, weighs 85 pounds. So I decided to do my next marriage like my McDonald's order. I supersized. She says she found me on the value menu, so it's all good. Do you think I'm stupid enough to get in front of a bunch of strangers and do that joke without her hearing it? No, y'all moron. She shot me on New Year's. What do you think she's going to do? I give jokes. Don't try your jokes. If you're going to be a comedian, don't try your jokes in your family. They won't laugh. That's the number. Chance, I'm almost done. 988, that's the number that you call. That's the new number they got. So if you just won't remember those three. They have a suicide hotline. With that, you flip it. So here's the deal. I'll leave you with this. Whether you thought I was the funniest comedian in the world or not, fine. We just do a little bit of comedy. I wanted to make you laugh. Thank you, sweetheart, for coming out. I know it's a serious subject. I know it's a serious topic. I'm not trying to beat you over the head with it. All I want to know, and if you're willing, afterwards, I will stand in that back and you come tell me something. But the key to all of this, farmers, ranchers, you have to talk to somebody. You have to take whatever pride that you have and realize your family needs you and they'll be there with you. But they can't help you unless you communicate. They can't be there for you. They can't do nothing. Whatever, oh, my wife's going to sell the farm tomorrow and get all that money and they'll take the kids and they'll be fine. Really? She's going to be absolutely fine if you just check out. You know that's not the truth. You know it's not the truth, but ladies do the same thing. Talk. Take the prize, put it in a box somewhere. Please, talk. Please grab your loved one and go, you matter, no matter what you're going through. I'm not saying you're going through anything, but if you need me, if you don't want to even talk to me, even 100 looks at me and goes, if you don't want to even talk to me, I'll find you somebody to talk to you. Everybody understand? And I know, please don't criticize Chance for having me too bad. I know some of you are probably going to get mad, or you're like, why in the world would we bring this forward? Because you need it. Numbers don't lie. Your numbers are going up. It's tough. Your numbers are going up. Or I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be presenting at FE Warren Air Force Base like I was a couple of days ago. Everybody understand? Okay? I'm out of here. That's Chance. You want to talk to me, I approach? Go ahead and talk to me. And last thing, well, I'm sorry, one thing, I always do this. Anybody have any questions at all? Okay. If you don't want to ask them out loud, what's your question?
If you think somebody's suicidal, what do you suggest to do to help them?
Well, if you think somebody's suicidal, okay, first person that's suicidal, if you look them straight in the face and goes, look, I know you're going through something. Would you like to talk to me, or would you like me to monitor you, or would you like me to help you get help? But don't do what I said earlier. You're depressed and suicide? Come on, just get over it. You offer the assistance. It may not be you they want to talk to you, but I bet you 50 million bucks they appreciate you looking out for them. Now, like I said, sometimes I have to sit in the recliner and go, hey, honey, I'm having a bad week. Monitor me. I'm just not feeling good. My head's not in the right place. And then she goes, okay, that's all I need from her. But if you have somebody suicidal, ask them. Say, I know you're going through a lot. Is there anything I can do? If I can't do it, can I get you this? You just want me to stay back and, hey, my phone, right beside my bed, you need to talk. Everybody with suicide tendencies always reach out. Maybe a coworker, a friend, whatever. They will reach out to somebody. It's not automatic, I decided to do this. Yes?
So my niece did that this last fall. She committed suicide. That morning she called me and reached out. She had not called me in months, but she reached out and talked to me that day right before she committed suicide. She knew that she needed to talk to somebody. So
I'm sorry.
it does happen. Yes,
I'm really, really sorry.
I know.
Did she reach out to anybody else before you?
No.
They reach out. All you do, the only thing you do is your best for them. And recognize it. Try to help them. I'm sorry for that. Anybody else? All right. I'm done. Thank y'all.
All right. Well, thank you, folks. It was an awesome Farm Ranch Days. Really appreciate you all. Thanks for keeping it a tradition here. We'll do it again next year, hopefully.